Well, this is us getting ready to deploy. This is at Fort Hood, behind our company. And like I said, this is where we first got to Kuwait that first night, and we were just sleeping all over the floor and stuff on our bags. We were pretty much exhausted because not a lot of people got sleep on the plane. This picture here is in Kuwait when we finally got our duffel bags off the truck. Here's some Patriots that were set up. They use those to intercept any weapons that are shot at us. I got on a convoy to go with this other unit, so I went to the port. And on the way there, I saw all these camels running around. And this is at the port. This is how we washed our clothes. Got a plastic bag with a box or something, washed our clothes in it. Well, this is the tent after everybody moved out and everybody was sleeping in the vehicles and stuff, or they just set up a cot outside where the vehicles were at. And here's us lining up. We stopped on the convoy. This is still in Kuwait, and they had the driver stay in the vehicle, and I was a driver, so I stayed in the vehicle, and all the passengers got out, and they had to pull perimeter around the vehicles to make sure, in case we get attacked or something. And this right here is what we called the berm, the border of Iraq and Kuwait. It's like a big sand dune. I guess this was like a fighting position they had built up. And this is Iraq. I don't know what it was, but a lot of their vehicles look just like this truck, orange and white. Little kid giving me thumbs up. Yeah, this was just like the first little city we went through coming into Iraq. All these people are pretty poor. You can see the houses. They look like they're stones or dirt or something. And here's a sign, read Baghdad on it, so I thought it'd be cool to snap a picture of it. There's one of our helicopters, an Apache. Passed by these kids riding this little cart pulled by donkeys. They were all excited to see us, though. It was pretty cool. On the convoy, we had to stop because we were waiting for the rest of the convoy because we got split up from them. And we were waiting here for a couple hours. And these people, we stopped right in front of their houses. But it was kind of neat just to watch them. There was this guy off to the left. He was over here irrigating his farm or whatever. And these people were running around talking to each other. Who knows, they were probably talking about us. But you just see them running, walk to one building, and they come out, and a group of them would meet and sit there and talk, blah, 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 or whatever. And this picture right here, this is a house that was being built. I thought it was one of the nicer houses, probably the nicest houses I saw coming up. This is one of the Iraqi tanks. What they told these guys is to point their turret down at the ground. That's a way of surrendering. You could tell that that was a tank that surrendered because their turret's not up, it's down, and it's not all blown up. And this explosion went off, and I was trying to race to get my camera, and all I got was a picture of some smoke left over. Later to find out they were blowing up some ammunition that they found. And this one we got to the palace the next morning because it was nighttime when we arrived there. This was the back gate. It's like this huge archway, and up top was a guard point. There's like a spiral staircase that went up. This thing was probably like 3 stories high. And here's a picture of the Euphrates River. And here's the front of the palace. You can see on the roof there's one eagle. The other one, there's one on the other side that got knocked over or something during the bombing. You can see all the rubble inside. This was all charred up, the metal gate or whatever that was on there. And you can see there's these pillars were huge and little tiles on the roof that were falling off. I took a better picture of all the rubble inside. And this right here was a little gazebo that was out by the water. It was all marble floor and glass doors that had been broken out, and the fireplace inside of it. He was roughing it out there. I don't know if it's true, but they said that this is one of Saddam's brothers or something. I want to say brothers' palaces. When we got there was nothing in these buildings though, because the locals went in and looted these buildings and stole everything out of them. I mean, all the way down to the hinges and the doors and light switches and plug outlets and stuff like that. This was like a mural that was metal. I want to say that this is like the Iran-Iraq era. This was in between like the windows on each side of the building. And this was like the ballroom area. We had a party here one night. They were playing some club music and they had a lot of food and stuff. Kind of like a morale booster or something, you could say. And this is kind of neat. It was like a tile picture or something on the wall, so I took a picture of it. And these little pillars are solid marble. And here's the palace that was across the Euphrates River. Totally bombed out. And this little boat had like a hose, like this tube hooked up to it. Went all the way to the other side of the river. So I imagine it was for pumping water over to the palace or something. And this is a photo from on top of one of the guard points that were like in the middle of the palace grounds. This road right here from the very front gate to the back gate that swung off to the right was like 1.5 miles long. These are just all our trucks all pulled in the lawn. This was off the side of one of the guard points. It's looking into the local town area. And this guy right here lived in this house. He was a farmer or something. He had all these fruit trees out here, and soldiers would pull guard duty, and he'd give them fruit while they were pulling guard duty. It was real nice. And when we first got there, they had this bomb. I guess they had it taped off. I was looking at that earlier, wondering what that red line was. It was taped off. It's just a photo of the palace. You can see all the rubble coming off of it. Helicopter land out there. We did a lot of cleaning up of these grounds and stuff. But this was the back gate right here. They had a tank, an Abrams sitting outside the back gate. Actually, this is right here. They knocked down this tree. They were driving it forward, knocking down this tree that was right there so they could have a better view of what was out there. And it's one of the helicopters. That's an Apache. And if you look, there's a Superman symbol that the 3rd Armored Cavalry Regiment from Fort Carson, Colorado. That's like what they have on all their helicopters, how you can distinguish one of theirs. There's one of the helicopter pads. I flew in a Chinook. It was one of those double propeller plane helicopters. But this is a huge hole that was in the floor, filled up with rubble. This place had rebar just everywhere. It's like they almost built this place like a bomb shelter or something. And there's me standing out by the water off the balcony. And here's on the C-130 when we're getting ready to go. I was getting ready to come home. And it's at the Kuwait airport. And this is in Amsterdam at 6 o'clock in the morning. We hadn't had anything to drink for 6 months. So me and some guys that were coming back, we decided just to have a few beers.